What is up, you sexy mother hubbards? It's time for an alternative paper review. Let's do this. First up today to the Independent's younger, hotter sister, the I, who lead with the UK prepares for a prolonged battle with Yemen rebels. Prolonged battle. Just focus on that phrase for a second. Prolonged battle. That is basically shorthand for endless war, isn't it? Why is it always the UK that are facing these prolonged battles? How come Norway never end up in some sort of geopolitical crisis? Anyway, it can't be underestimated that this situation with the Houthi rebels and Yemen, that is happening in parallel with Ukraine. Then we have the possibility of a Trump presidency taking place again, because Nikki Haley lost New Hampshire yesterday. So that all but puts like the final nail in the coffin. Like, Trump will end up being the Republican nominee now. So if Trump gets into the White House, you're going to start to see the US pulling out of Ukraine, like no longer supporting Zelensky, and then Putin will just run riot. Realistically, you could see Putin's Russia invading way more of Eastern Europe if the events of today carry on into tomorrow, into the following 6 months and a year or so. Like, things are looking bad, which is why we're starting to see headlines like this one in the Telegraph. Army chief, public face call-up if the UK goes to war. No. How about just no? I'm not sending my son or daughter off to war because of some sort of geopolitical misstep and bad governance by the Conservative Party. I'm just not. I'll shoot them in the foot before I allow them to go off to war. You see the little subheading here? It says, troop cuts mean military is too small to fight against Russia on its own. And this is what I mean by poor governance, bad government. Mismanagement of the economy. It's like they've spaffed so much money up the wall, they've looted the public coffers, that there is just not enough money to entice people into the armed forces and bolster our defences to be able to fight off a Putin. So now what, we're looking at the draft, are we? Really? Like, it's one thing to make it impossible to heat your home. It's another to ensure that food becomes so pricey you basically are gonna starve to death. But we are on a whole new plane, aren't we? When Tory mismanagement basically yields a situation where you have to send your own firstborn son off to die in a pit somewhere over a situation that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Finally, to The Guardian, which also talk about this, Yemen attack Houthi thing. But then can you just see down the bottom there? Staying in school cuts death risk, study finds. Yeah, how about that? If you stay in school, you live longer. Unless you live in the US, in which case the stats are slightly different.